friends, it's been a while. Chris here, Food FAQs. Summertime here in Canada. I've got some what most people know as Jamaican callaloo growing in the backyard. We call it Chorai bhagi. We've had this discussion before. Chorai bhagi or spinach down in the Southern Caribbean. This video is not about that. This video is about how to harvest, how to save the Jamaican callaloo for seeds for next year, as well as how to trim it and prepare it for cooking. So in today's episode of Food FAQ, everything you need to know about Jamaican callaloo. Let's go outside first and we will harvest some. If you've watched my garden video for 2015, you would know this is my little area here that I have my Jamaican callaloo growing. Down to the back down there I have some more, but back to this area here, you will notice some of it I've allowed already to go to seed. And this is the top area here. This is like the baby seeds. It is late August and it's about to develop. It has to go a bit bigger, darker, and it's prime for going to seed to develop into seeds for next year. So what I will do is allow it to mature, and then I will put it into a brown paper bag, allow it to dry, and then store it during the winter months for planting next year. Then I will just shake it in that bag and then dust it out into my garden next year, same area here, and then it would grow up. Now, as far as reaping this, the more you cut it back, so for instance, if I had a sharp knife with me, but I don't, all I would do is snap it and you would break it like this. Typically you want to cut it. I broke it with my fingers here, but you want to cut it. The more you cut it back, and you will see some stems here that I did cut back, like for instance here and here. The more you cut it back, the more it will keep growing. So that's the trick. The more you cut it back before it goes to seed, you will keep getting more. So now we will go inside. I will cut some more of this. We'll go inside and I'll show you how to prepare it for cooking. One of the first thing I would recommend doing is filling your sink with water and soaking the Jamaican callaloo in it. Then I would shake it just to allow all the dirt, because remember this is planted close to the ground, and chances are when they harvest it, and most likely you will be getting it in the grocery store and stuff, it will not be washed as it should be. So you want to soak it in there, shake it out a few times, and let most of that dirt settle to the bottom of the sink, and repeat it a couple times just to get most of that dirt out of it. Now after you've trimmed it, you want to put it in a wire basket or something, in a colander or something, and then rinse it again just to make sure you get rid of all of that dirt. The first thing we need to do is to remove the leaves off the stems, and what you're looking for is all the nice leaves. And I'm lucky because all these leaves are pretty much, there's no discoloration, there's no holes or anything, and that's the beauty about planting your own. This is a nice tender stem. There's no flowers or anything, no seeds on this, so I'm just going to use this as it is. Now in a case like this where the stem is a bit thicker and there is the flowers on the top here, I'm just going to pinch that off, discard that, and we're going to take all these leaves off, and those are perfect for cooking. And we're going to add it to the bunch here that we started off with, and we have the stem. The stem is relatively tender as well, so this is good for cooking, but we're going to get to that in a second. Some more of these wonderful leaves. This is all that Jamaican callaloo goodness here. I just want to pick those off, and since this is a little bit tough area here, I'm just going to trim that off. We can discard that, and we're going to put that into a sort of a bundle, and this is where you're going to trim it to the size that you like. So in this case here, about 1/2 inch, anywhere from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, just as if you're cooking spinach, into ribbons. And this is pretty much prepared as it should be for cooking if you're cooking some nice Jamaican callaloo and saltfish. In this case, I'm using this for a Jamaican callaloo fried rice that I'm doing. If you go over to Caribbean Pot on YouTube here, you will find that recipe. Now, as far as the stems are concerned, you will need a paring knife. I'm just going to trim off, and this is another one of those thick stems. I'm going to use these leaves as well. But what you want to do is get a paring knife, and you're just going to peel back on the stems. And typically if you pull back on it, it usually peels, but if it doesn't, all you want to do is just work your way down. Just going to peel back on that. Sometimes if you go from the top part and you pull down, just to pull back the sort of skin or the outer layer, because that's where it's going to be tough. Just pull back on that. And once you have it all pulled back, you're just going to discard that. If it's too thick, you want to run your knife down the center just to get it a bit thinner. And all you would do then is cut it up the same sort of size. And you would use that. Now, here's the thing. When you're starting the cooking process, I would start cooking this first. When you fry your garlic and your onions and your scotch bonnet pepper and stuff like that, toss this into the pot first, because this will take a little bit longer to cook than the actual callaloo leaves. So in today's video, we'll learn how to harvest it, how to save it, how to save the callaloo for seeds, how to wash it and rinse it, how to trim it into these nice ribbons, how to peel back on the stem so we can use the stem, so we're using the entire plant, and how a little tip on how to use the stems as well to get most use out of the entire plant. Chris here, Food FAQs. Remember to give the video the thumbs up. And if you would like to request a video, hit me up on Twitter at Ubzucky.